Yeah, I was in our New York City office at 33rd Madison conducting an interview of a salesperson when it hit, and I remember the smoke from the towers funneling up Madison Avenue, and not knowing initially what was going on. We thought the first plane was an accident, and then we heard as the second plane hit, it was a terrorist attack.
So I left my office and started walking home because there was no other way to get home. And of course, there was the stream of people walking uptown, and I looked back to see one of the towers collapse. It was incredible.
That particular day, I was supposed to be in that building and I was supposed to be in a meeting, but I got called away from a different meeting to be in LA. And so what I remember is that morning, my phone ringing off the hook by everybody that knew me and knew what I did, making sure I wasn't in the building. Pagers were off the hook. I was in Santa Monica, California at the time, and it was early. It was very difficult because I lost two friends of mine, Cantor Fitzgerald and a Secret Service agent that I knew very well in the towers. And, it was a tough day. We should never forget, really, not only why it took place, but the actual process of how we dealt with security at the time. And what, we still have to improve upon because we're not still there. And I think that that's part of the equation, and that's why I'm still in this business after 35 years, really looking for the solutions that are going to change our world and make it a safer place.
It was a tragic day for all of us. 22 years ago, I was in Atlanta, and I was with NEC at the time, and in biometrics in this space as well. So we saw biometrics really take off since 9/11, and just a more of a larger focus around security since that time.
I was at school back in that time, and we saw the tragic news. We saw everybody and all of our parents and the reactions. And what we realized from a business and a corporation standpoint is immediately the world was changing. People didn't want to allow people into the building that day. They didn't want to allow people out of the building that day for their own safety and concern.
So I was just a young kid. I was 11, 12 years old, and my mom had actually picked me up. I had a dentist appointment, so I was sitting in the dentist's lobby watching the planes hit the towers on the TV in that lobby. It was a very traumatic day for little me.
So I was one, and so I was probably crawling somewhere in my parents' bedroom, but I do remember learning significant amounts of information about 9/11 in the coming years.
So I was in the Charlotte Lake Police Department Police Academy, taking a defensive tactics class. We were in the middle of throwing each other into handcuff drills when the first towers were hit. The following day, we did push-ups and sit-ups for every fallen police officer and fireman in the city.
I was 2 hours away from getting on a flight going to New York to have meetings in the American Express building. So it's a very touching day for myself and friends in that area. But it's something we should always remember, we should always defend, we should always respect.